This looks so bad. Yeah, I'll explain at the end. Damn it. All right. I'll explain right now. Thanks to BetUS for sponsoring the video. I was walking out of one of the Greenway Plaza parking garages, as I often do, but one of the exits that I usually use is blocked. So I was walking behind a car as it exited the parking garage, and as I was not drinking, phone in my pocket, the 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 barrier arm came crashing down on my head, which I did not realize at first. I did not know what I thought a gargoyle from the building or something had fallen on my head. So this was one of the dumbest things I've ever done, and it was bleeding a good amount. I went into Chipotle; they were really happy to see me, so I went in and doctored myself up a little bit, slapped some hand sanitizer on there. I'm good to go. I said, hey, give me my burrito. I've got a live stream to do, damn it. The Texans are taking on the Jaguars tomorrow. The Jaguars are a caged animal backed into a corner at 0-3. They've played competitive games versus the Dolphins, had the lead in the third quarter, but the Dolphins came back. The Trevor Lawrence led a pretty good drive where they could have taken the lead against the Browns in the fourth quarter, but they stalled out in the red zone. Texans red zone defense has not been good so far this year. So got to fix that. It's not like this is a dangerous wounded animal in the Jacksonville Jaguars, but wounded nonetheless. That's why I put my money down on the over for this game, because I think the Texans are going to have some opportunities for deep strikes versus this Jaguars defense that plays a lot of man defense. Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins, one of those guys is going to go off. And Joe Mixon himself, I expect to be pretty refreshed. If he's healthy, he's going to be refreshed. Right now, BetUS will give you a 150% bonus on your first deposit. They'll do 125% on your second and third deposits, all the way up to $2,000. Check it out at BetUS. The Jaguars have not won a game since they beat the Texans last year in Houston. That's how bad it's been for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So they faced their 9th loss in a row. In the interim, they paid Trevor Lawrence. And it's making a lot of us look really dumb for our offseason takes about whether it was a good thing to pay Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence right now, he is completing 52.8% of his passes. That's several percentage points higher than Anthony Richardson. So there's that. 6.3 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. The Jags are reeling right now. This is not the Jaguars team we expected to see. I would not take them lightly. They've got a lot of new additions. They've got the rookie wide receiver. They brought in Gabe Davis, shuffled in some offensive linemen. So you never know. We've seen broad stretches of Trevor Lawrence playing very good football, so you don't want the Texans to be the team that they click against. Notable injuries. Evan Ingram, he's been out since week 1. Very good player for them, obviously. Alyakhan, the linebacker, he's on IR with a foot injury, so there's some areas for opportunity there. If we're going to go strength versus weakness, I think the biggest mismatch tomorrow is the Texans defensive ends versus the Jaguars offensive tackles. Offensive tackles been very sus, as the kids would say, and Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson have been playing very well. The defensive tackles have shown bursts of pass rush ability. There's some discipline issues versus a mobile quarterback like Trevor Lawrence. I don't know why people keep saying, I heard this 3 times in the last 2 days. Hey, Trevor Lawrence can run. He's more athletic than you think. Like, what? What? It's 2024. Like, can we stop attaching like various gender and racial attributes to people? Yeah, he's a big white kid that can run pretty well. This is known. My God, come on, people. We're better than that. Not me. I'm a fucking idiot. So that's the area of opportunity for the Texans. I think offensively, the Texans' run game has been their weakness, one of their weaknesses, and since Joe Mixon went out. So Joe Mixon might be the elixir for a lot of those. I think in that Colts game, A, that turns out the Colts actually suck on defense, but B, Joe Mixon made the offensive line right a lot. If you look at the strength of the Jaguars, it's probably their defensive ends. So you got strength versus strength there. That tends to cancel. Those tend to cancel each other out. I think Laramie's ability when he's not false starting or lining up illegally, and Titus Howard, who's protected the passer well this year, will be big assets versus a strength of the Jaguars defense. I think the biggest and most interesting matchup is almost scheme style versus the Texans offense, because the Texans have seen a whole lot of cover 2, whole lot of zone. The Jaguars play a bunch of man. So that should spell opportunities for guys like Nico Collins and Stephon Diggs, perhaps to get some deep strikes downfield if the offensive line can hold up. So the offensive line as a whole has not pass protected well. The blitz has been an issue. The Jaguars play a lot of man, but they're not an extremely heavy blitzing team. After watching last week's film versus the Vikings, I'm guessing that might change a little bit. I don't think the Jaguars are capable of pulling it off the way the Vikings do. The Vikings are a special unit. That's a fun defense to watch now that I know the Texans don't have to play them again. But the Texans run blocking has been bad. They've got the 30th win rate in the league, and that matches the eyeball test. Sometimes I'm a little dicey on advanced stats. This matches the eyeball test, whereas Hines Allen is a very good player overall, and Trayvon Walker hasn't been rushing the passer all that well this year, but he is still a very stout run defender. So if the Jaguars can turn the Texans into a one-dimensional, leaning on the pass type of team on Sunday, maybe that ends up being really good for the Texans, but they got to be able to protect the passer. Texans haven't been good on third down conversion, and a big part of that is because they have been in third and long a bunch. So if the Jaguars can hold the Texans on first and second down when they're running the ball, then the Texans are going to be in a whole lot more third and long situations. I do feel to tie up all of the Laramie Tunsil stuff after a week of way too much Laramie Tunsil talk. Look, you guys know my feeling on this. I think Laramie Tunsil has the physical potential to be a Hall of Fame caliber offensive tackle. He just needs to do a few little things better, extra, more aggressively. One of those is run blocking, but the other is just the simple attention to detail on alignments, false starts, all of that. I really believe that filters down to the other guys on the offensive line. When your alpha is just being sloppy with stuff like that, I think it's just indicative of a lot of other things. And that's the last I'll say of it. I hope that this week maybe was just maybe this is the intervention call he needed. Maybe he realizes, like, all right, it's time to change some things. You know what? I'm going to do better. I'm going to do better in all regards in terms of setting an example as a leader. I'm not going to blame it on the center. I'm ready to wipe the slate clean and walk forward into a brave new world with Laramie Tunsil, the reinvented Laramie Tunsil, who's a hell of a pass protector, but he can be more. He's just so damn capable. He's so good. By the way, Texans have faced a lot of cover two. Who's best in the league at playing cover two? The Bills. So just something to think about. Yeah, get right this game, please. If you want to be able to stand in there where I'm going to have a few of my family members, my in-laws who are Bills fans at the game, please don't let them be in a position to talk smack to me after this game. If you can do it for bludgeoned Sethers, at least do it for me. Oh, and thank you to BetUS for sponsoring this video in my time of suffering and need. Thank you.